All right, welcome to another video, and in this video we're gonna talk about the key performance indicators to observe when buying NFTs or getting into NFT projects. So these are essentially things I like to follow whenever I get into a project, but it varies depending on what I like, what I don't like. But as a rule of thumb, if you follow these four things, you won't go wrong, because these are usually projects that are fairly new, doing well, and essentially you are very early. So the first thing that I like to look out for is Discord members, is how many people are there in their Discord. And essentially, I like to join projects that have at least greater than 2,000 Discord members, because that shows that there's a community there. And but also, one thing that's very important is what's the time frame of that Discord. So like, if a Discord that was created like 2 months ago and they have 2,000 members, that's a horrible project. It's not gonna go anywhere. But if you see a project that's like a week old and they have over 2,000 members, that's amazing, because within a week they got 2,000 members. And the way these Discords go, I have seen projects where I joined up where there were 2,000 members, and within a matter of days, they went from 2,000 to 30,000 to 50,000. So as a rule of thumb, I definitely would recommend looking for projects that are new, first of all, that are about I would say maximum 2 weeks old, has at least 2,000 members. But if they have actual utility, another thing that I didn't mention here, but also another thing that's very important, is utility. Does the project have any type of use case? Because that also helps build the community up really, really quickly. Like, for example, if you see a project that has an actual game and you can mint NFTs and you can use in the game, and they already made the game, that's a project to definitely get into, because it's gonna do really, really well. Because like I said in a previous video, the Rory project, in a matter of days, they went from a couple of thousand to hundreds of thousands basically. And it did extremely well. But again, you need to get into projects early, because if you don't, you're gonna miss out on a lot of benefits that these projects usually give out to early members. Like, you'll be able to mint multiple NFTs as opposed to just one. So like, there's a project, I forgot what it was called, but since I got in early, I was able to mint 5 of them. And since I was able to mint 5, the floor price went up to like half an ether, and I minted each of them for 0.05 ether. So just imagine the ROI that I had on that. So getting early in a project is very important. And the second thing I like to look out for is the Discord community. So are they active? Is their community really trying and actively participating in growing that project? So this is very important, because sometimes you'll see Discord groups with even 5,000, 10,000 members, but the community is dead. Nobody's talking. Nobody's even trying to grow the Discord, is invite other members, or the hype around the project. And that's also very important, because if the community is not actively behind that project is gonna fail. But if you see a Discord with like 500 members, but the community is extremely active. And again, what it really comes down to is the time frame. When was that Discord created for that NFT? If it's really old and they have barely any traction, it's possibly not going to go anywhere. But if they're fairly new and the community is really active or even fairly active, I would say I would definitely go into that project. Even if you don't buy, just go in, get that whitelist, and just be there, because you never know how big a project can get. You don't really need 50 successful flips to make money. You just need one good one, and even if you lose on 10, that one will pay for the next 50 flips that you're gonna do in NFTs, which is insane, because you could essentially buy something for 0.10 ETH or 0.20 ETH, and the floor price will shoot up all the way to 5-6 Ethereum, which is crazy, but it's been happening. I've had multiple projects that did extremely well, and if you follow what I'm showing you right now, you cannot go wrong. And so the first two things that I mentioned, Discord members, the age of that Discord, how long have they been around for, the community, these are for newer projects. But once a project already hits OpenSea, as we will also discuss how to find projects that are already in the secondary market but do quick flips, so that's why you would want to see the floor price. Floor price is essentially, let's say a project has 5,000 NFTs, and from that 5,000 NFT, the lowest you can buy it for is called a floor price. So essentially, every single person who owns the NFTs in that project, they can choose a price that they can sell at, and the person selling it for the least amount is essentially the floor price. So ideally you want to join projects that are not on the secondary market yet, but since there have been times, well, quite a few times, where I did really well with the secondary market too, is you have to see the floor price is higher than the mint price, and how high is it. So like if you see the mint price was 0.10 ETH and the floor price is already 0.50 after like a week from when the project was initially minted, it's doing really well, because that's 0.10 ETH to 0.5 half an ETH basically. So you already, people who bought that already made a ton of money from there, and so can you if you time it right. So that's why timing is so important. If you're just getting started, I would definitely not recommend being on the secondary market, because it gets really tricky. But with the newer projects, it's very easy to be extremely successful. And for starters, I would recommend doing a few of those flips before getting into the secondary market, because you definitely want to see how minting works, how everything works from the get-go before you really start doing it on an everyday basis. The next thing I like to look out for is the total NFTs available to mint. So an ideal number that I really like is 10,000, because projects that have 10,000 NFTs almost always do very well. But anything over that, I would advise not to go after that. Like there was a project called Colony Online, I believe, and they did 25,000. And right now, the floor price is way lower than what it was, because that's way too many, and it was never gonna take off like a project with 10,000, because all these bigger projects that have been successful have been sticking to that 10,000 number, and newer projects that do that also almost always tend to be successful as long as all these other factors are being met. So never go for projects that have more than 10,000 available to mint in one go. And essentially, if you follow all these, you should be good. But to sum it up again, you want to go for newer projects that has some kind of utility. So it can be a game, it can be a platform, it can be some kind of technology, anything that will help the community members, because you'd be surprised how fast these discords grow. Because you could see a project that's at 2,000 one day, and then the next day it's at 5,000. The next day it's at 10, then 20, and by the time you try to get that whitelist, it's too late. So essentially, again, what a whitelist is you get to buy before everyone else. So when the actual public sale happens, if the project is on Ethereum, there's crazy gas fees, which is essentially transaction fees, because everybody's going to be trying to buy that at once. But if you're on the whitelist, you get to buy it before everybody else. And in the next few videos, we'll talk about the perks and everything else that comes with minting it early than the actual public sale. But aside from that, just follow these KPIs that I just mentioned, and you should be good.